Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. My name is Nick, and this is being recorded just a couple of hours after I got home from the record store and picked up my new record store day titles. So I figured I'd kind of go over those and what I picked up and what I didn't pick up, and some of the kind of how my experience went, and kind of what I thought of the this second round of record store day for 2020. So it was actually a pretty long night for me. I worked last night, so I got out at 3 o'clock this morning and left straight from work and went to I went to Dearborn Music in Dearborn, Michigan. That's kind of the record store that Ian and I frequent most, I think. And at least that's one I always go to for any kind of record store day event. So I got there at 3:40 this morning. I really didn't know how it was going to be. I know that when Ian and I went to back in August for the first drop date, we got there. We wanted to be first. I'd never been first in line for a record store day. So we got there at 11 o'clock the night before, and it wasn't really until between like 3 or 4 that morning that I'd say a bulk of people really started kind of showing up. Prior to 3 o'clock that morning, there might have been 3 or 4 of us there. So I didn't really know how it was going to be for this date. But I couldn't get out of work because of my school schedule and everything like that. I wasn't able to trade my shifts or move things around. So I wasn't going to be able to be there any kind of earlier than at least 3:40, 3:45. So I got there and it wasn't too bad. I was 9th or 10th in line. I don't think I really counted when I first showed up. I was kind of tired and I kind of wanted to just set up shop and take a nap for a couple of hours. But it all kind of went out pretty without a hitch. I think it actually kind of went a little smoother than it did back in August. In August, we had, with everything going on with the pandemic and social distancing, and it was kind of a new kind of way of doing record store day. And I think that once they kind of went through that kind of dry run, that actually went really a lot smoother this time. I know I was in and out. I was out of there before 8:30. The store day opened up at 8 o'clock. So I sat there, I think it was probably about 10 till they went around and passed out slips. And you kind of jotted down what you wanted, put down your phone number, then they text you at 8:30, and then you go in and pay. So it was a pretty smooth transition, a pretty smooth transaction. Pretty easy process. I think, like I said, I think it went smoother this time than it did back in August. I will say that record store day for September was probably at least a little more boring than it was for August. At least back in August, I had somebody to talk to. Ian went with me, but he had to work this weekend, so he wasn't able to get out of that. So I had to venture out by myself, but it wasn't too bad. There was a couple of guys in line I talked to a little bit, but for the most part, after working a 12-hour shift, I was ready to kind of just nod off and wait till 8 a.m. So the first one I kind of that I didn't really initially have it on my list, and the more I thought about it, the more I kind of I wanted to try to get it. I didn't know if I was going to be able to. It was only limited to 700 releases, and that was the Chuck Mosley First Hellos and Last Goodbyes. Chuck Mosley's a pretty good. He's got a pretty decent little following. So if you don't really know, he was the lead singer of Faith No More when they started. He was also in Bad Brains. And I've never heard anything that's on this album, so I'm actually really interested to give this a listen. I picked up the 7-inch, the 45 for Record Store Day last year, and I was really surprised how well that was. That was the last 2 songs he recorded. So that was when I saw he had a release on this one, I definitely added it to my list. It's on a pretty cool looking blue vinyl, translucent. So the next one's another one that I didn't really initially have on my list of titles I wanted to grab. And actually when I did the preview video, was it a week or so back, I didn't even have it in the video. I didn't even think about it till after the fact, and or decide on it after the fact. It's one that, like I said, over the last month or 2, I kind of went back and forth. I've revised my record store day list probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 different times. And it's one that really, until I was in line this morning, I wasn't 100% sure I was going to get it. And that's Ellie Goulding's debut album, Lights. And like I said, I think it's kind of an underrated album for what it is. It's a electro pop kind of dance album. It's a pretty good one to toss on. It's got a couple of really good tracks on it. She was really popular overseas. I'm not really sure how big of a fan base she has in the U.S., but like I said, it's a really good album. Price-wise, I'll get to record store day pricing here in a minute, but price-wise, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't super outrageous, like a couple of other ones I wanted to grab but didn't grab. So, yeah, I decided to grab it. So the last couple of ones I picked up were definitely the reasons that I went to Record Store Day for September. Originally, I didn't really know. I knew I was going to definitely go for August. September, I was kind of up in the air. In October, I was kind of even more up in the air. I am going to go for all three of the Record Store Day events, but these next couple of ones were definitely the reason why. First off, the Soft Parade Stripped. This is one that I was really kind of excited to hear, and I really wish it came with a download card, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and digitize it anyway. And this is, if you guys don't know, Soft Parade it's a really good Doors album, but it's got a lot of like strings and horns on the album. So what they did was they went back and stripped all of that out, and this is just the band, and it's not the full album. It's only got a couple of tracks that are actually on. Yeah, just 4 different tracks off the album. So, or 4 or 5. So it's I kind of wish they would have done a full album release in that kind of way, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get something more in the future. I will say that the album itself looks pretty cool. I am not a fan of this packaging though, because as you can see, it kind of got folded up, and I'm sure it'll probably straighten out after a while, but it's just a plastic sleeve. But I think the packaging could have been a little bit better on it. And but the album itself looks pretty sweet. If I can get it out of here. The static on these things are terrible. That's on a crystal clear. So it looks pretty sweet. It's got the picture of the band on one side, info on the other side. So it's pretty sweet looking. Nice clear. The next album is one I grew up listening to. It's it's a fantastic album. I think it's one of those kind of staple albums that everyone has in their collection. But this is kind of a different take on it, and that's The Ultimate Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. So it's the same songs that are on the actual album, but these are different versions or outtakes of those songs, of those classic kind of Fleetwood Mac songs. So I'm really kind of interested to see how this sounds. Like I said, it was definitely one that I don't know if I originally like initially put it on my list, but pretty early on I decided I was going to grab it. So last one I've got here is one that I think was the first one I saw on the list when the Record Store Day list came out. That I was like, yeah, I have to have that. That's the main reason why I went to the September Record Store Day drop. And that's Roger Waters' The Wall Live. This is live in Berlin from 1990. So this is 8 months after the fall of the Berlin Wall. I want to say there was like 350,000 people that went to this concert. And it was, he's got a bunch of guest musicians on this. It's a fantastic album. I've heard it a couple of times. And, being a big Pink Floyd fan, obviously, it's something I had to have. So the packaging for The Wall Live is actually pretty nice. It's, obviously anything Roger Waters puts out, first off, is generally pretty expensive. So I was really excited to see that this was a pretty decently priced album. But the packaging on it's pretty sweet. It's got it doesn't have any books or anything like that, but it's got a nice. If I can try not to block my microphone here, it's got a pretty nice shot of the live concert, and it also has a list of all the featured musicians on there on the back. And I don't know if there was a theme this year for clear vinyl, but I want to say this is probably at least 3 of the ones I got today are on clear vinyl, but pretty sweet looking. It's got a logo on one of the logos on the back. So all together it looks pretty nice. I can't wait to give this a spin and see how it sounds. But I know, like I said, anything Roger Waters puts out is generally top-notch, top quality, so I'm sure it sounds fantastic. I know I'd mentioned pricing a couple of times. There were a couple of other albums that I wanted to get, and I could have gotten them, but when the list came out, so when Dearborn Music hands out their sheet in the morning, this is what it looks like, and it's kind of it just gives you a list of what all the titles and all the prices. And I kind of started scanning down through there, and I was like, okay, I want that, I want that, I want that. And then I started looking at how much the pricing was on it. And for when the August drop date happened, I kind of went online early and did some research and looked up how much some other sites were going to charge for some of the albums. And I don't think Dearborn's out, overpricing anything for sure. Normally their pricing is actually cheaper than a lot of other places. And granted, some of the pricing they've got on here isn't true pricing at the store because they were running a sale today also on all the Record Store Day titles. But some of them, so I wanted to get the Coolio Gangster's Paradise 25th anniversary. The thing was $40 though, or $37. So I was like, yeah, I mean, it'd be something nice to have, but is it something I'm going to spend enough to really make that $40 price point worth it to me? The Fillmore West Live by Allman Brothers. It's a good album. It's not terribly priced. It was $30, but it's another one of those albums that I kind of went back and forth on. It's something, yeah, I'm gonna listen to, but am I gonna listen to it more than maybe once a year? Once or twice every couple of years. So $30-$40. I don't know. It's something kind of tore me a couple of different times on some of these releases. Another one is McCartney. Paul McCartney's first. It was his first solo album. Like I said, it wasn't terribly priced. It was $30. But it's another album. It's like, I haven't listened to it before. I haven't heard it. It could be a fantastic album. I'm not really sure. But, is it worth $30 to me? And I think that's probably really an ongoing theme. I know that a lot of people were interested to see how the Notorious B.I.G. packaging was going to be. And so it's a 9-album set. So it was $190 at the store, which for a 9-album set is not bad. But, when you start kind of digging into what's included in that box set, I believe all those albums are actually available on standard black vinyl. So, if you don't have any of the Notorious B.I.G. albums, yeah, it might be worth it to drop $190 on it. But if you've got a couple of them, it might not be. It might be better or cheaper for you to just kind of go out and pick up some of the albums that you're needing or wanting off his catalog. I know the Ramones. What is it? It's Alive 2 was another one of those albums that I had on my list that I wanted to go grab. But, when it was $36 at the store, yeah, I mean, I know I've talked about it before, the kind of rising cost of vinyl. And I think we're starting to get down the road, especially when you see prices like that for this Record Store Day stuff that I think is going to put a lot of people that are your casual fans of some of these albums, they're going to put them off from buying them. Yeah, It's Alive 2. If it was $28, I probably would have got it. But $37, you add tax on that. I don't know. I'm not. I am a Ramones fan. I think they got some great music, but it's kind of a steep price for that album. And I know for a lot of people out there, if you're a huge fan of a band or an album, $30 or $40 is not. It's not superly outrageous. I've definitely paid a lot more than that for some of the albums I have. But I think like I said, we're starting to get into this. I'm starting to really see an uptrend in the last year or so in the total of the overall pricing for some of these albums. And I know when I got back into collecting vinyl a couple of years back, a lot of the albums that were $17 to $24, I'm starting to see that are now $28 to $32, and it's like, is this kind of steep rise in pricing of vinyl? Is it really sustainable for the vinyl market? And I think ultimately, this is one of the things. The pricing issue is something that will ultimately hurt and not only the entire vinyl industry, but especially Record Store Day. Record Store Day is something that was created to be, this celebration of independent music stores, which is the backbone of the physical music market in the United States. And I definitely grew up. I loved going when I was growing up to go to the record store and kind of browse through things and find new things. And that's what Record Store Day is. It's a celebration of that. And I think that once we start getting to a point where the price of these albums really kind of push a lot of people out of the market, like I said, it's only going to hurt the market and the fans from that are looking to buy these albums. Well, that's all I got this week, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Drop a comment down below and let me know how your record store day went and some of the stuff you guys picked up. It overall it was a fun experience for me. It is. I think I'm kind of, like I said, I'm getting used to the different kind of record store day experience. Obviously, hopefully next year's record store day we can kind of go back to being normal and enjoy the normal festive atmosphere that surrounds record store day. But like I said, let me know what you guys think. Come back this coming Sunday. I'm finally going to be rejoined by Ian, and we're going to be talking about. So Rolling Stone magazine just updated and released a new edition of their top 500 albums of all time. So we're going to kind of run down through some of that stuff and bash on that a little bit. But that's all I got. If you guys enjoyed the episode, definitely give me the old thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, and that's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.